Today we are making this fun little conversation heart pillow, and I'm going to show you the materials that we need to make this buddy. You're going to need a sewing machine first of all. It'll make things a lot easier than hand stitching it. You're going to need some thread and a bobbin, of course, to use in the sewing machine. You're going to need a hand sewing needle because we're closing the pillow, and you're going to need to close it without using the machine for an invisible stitch, which I will teach you how to do. You're going to need sewing shears. You're going to need a marker, probably a marking pen. We're using a Sharpie because of limited materials. You're going to need some pins. You need a hot glue gun for gluing on the letters and something to rest it on. You're going to need this pink, dark pink felt. You just got a sheet of it for the lettering. And whatever color you're going to make the conversation heart. We went with yellow. You're probably going to need about a yard of it, maybe a little bit more depending on the size you're making the heart. I'm not going to be showing an exact pattern. I'm just going to show you how to measure everything in order to get your conversation heart. And the last thing you're going to need, stuffing. You're going to have to stuff it. Alright, we're going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to show you what to do first. First things you're going to need your marking utensil, your shears, your pins, and your fabric to start. I already cut out the one for the previous pillow, so there's holes in it. But what you got to do is you got to fold the fabric in a way so that it's quadruple layered with two folds. So what I'm doing is I'm folding this half this way, and then I'm folding this part on top of that and folding it this way. So you have two folds lined up. It'll be a lot easier if you just have your half yard or yard of fabric or however much you're doing, and you don't have to do what I'm doing. But I'm just showing if you want to make more than one, you can make more than one out of a small amount of fabric. Alright, so we got the fold here. What you're going to do is you're going to draw out a heart shape, just the half of heart. You can do it whatever size, whatever shape you want. You can make it bigger or smaller. I'm going to use a medium-sized one. And you're starting at the corner. Just dragging it out. There's my half a heart. Now what you're going to want to do is pin the two, well I guess 4 layers of fabric together, all the way through to the bottom. And you're going to do that on all the edges. Make sure you're not getting in the way of where you're cutting with the scissors. And if you actually have sewing shears and not just some cruddy scissors, this should cut through all the layers of the fabric. So what you're doing is you're cutting about a little bit away from the line you drew, about ½ an inch or less, because you're going to be sewing on that line that you drew, so it'll be that exact size that you drew out. I'm just going to go ahead and cut across here and then cut off this little part here. Alright, so that's what it looks like right now. So what you're going to do next, with the remainder of your fabric, you're doing a side piece. I failed to mention you're going to need a measuring tape. I'm sorry about that, but you will need a measuring tape. Alright, measuring tape. Ours is all curly for some reason. Anyway, first you're going to unpin your heart, double layers. Now you could just sew these two pieces together, but that doesn't look like conversation heart. Conversation hearts have a flat edge around them. So this is what it's going to be the general shape of. What you want to do now, I know it's a little weird, but it's the way I figured out how to do this size for the side piece. You're just going to start from the corner and measure, fold it here, measure all the way around your heart. I know it's a little unconventional. I got 41. So what you want to add is about 3 inches more to that, so we'll make it 44. So 44 divided by 2, look at 44 divided by 2 is 22. So you want to make it 2 pieces of 22 because there's going to be 2 seams here and here. I'm sorry if it's a little confusing, but what we're going to do now is it's going to be 5 inches wide using our ruler or our measuring tape. I'm not even going to use that ruler, I don't know why it's here. So you're going to need a 5 by 22 rectangle. So we got 5 this way, and we make sure that 22 will fit, and it does. So you just start marking 5 by 22. Alright, there's 5. Now we can see where the 22 lands. 22 is here. And then we just cut that rectangle out. Alright, you have your 5 by 22. Now in school you learned hamburger style, hot dog style. You're folding this hot dog style this way. And then you're going to cut that in half. To me, it's just easier to measure this way than measuring 2 rectangles that are like 2.5 by 22. Instead, you just do a 5 by 22 and cut it in half. Alright, now you have 2 rectangles that are about the same size. So what you're going to do now is you're going to do the right sides together, which for fleece it's kind of hard to tell. You can just guess at it, really. And you're going to pin one end together. I just use 2 pins, and you're just going to sew just from there to there. That's how you're going to start by removing the cat from the chair. Step 1. Now you're going to thread your machine. I'm going to go ahead and do that real quick. I'm sure if you're using a sewing machine, you know how to do that already. And we're ready to go. All I'm doing it is sewing from here to here. You're going to want to sew at 5/8 as you do for most things. There you have it. It's together. Alright, the next thing you're going to do is you're going to be pinning your long strip of fabric to the hearts. So you're going to do one of the hearts. You're just going to take one of these hearts. You're going to align the seam that you just made with the corner indent of the heart where it goes in. And you're just going to pin it there. And then from there, you're just going to be pinning it along the edge. It'll take a while and it feels a little awkward going around curves, but just make sure you're doing a lot of pins and it'll come along, especially with fleece because it has a little bit of a stretch to it. It will go ahead and form to the curves. Just pinning all the way to this corner and then stopping, and then you're going to leave that flap there, and then we're just going to go ahead and do the other side. Alright, so it is now fully pinned. What we're going to do now, you obviously see that these are too long. They're going to be, and it's better to have too long than to have just not long enough. So we're just going to cut a little bit of that off. You want to be able to connect them at the corner by about 1 inch, so you're just going to cut off, leaving about 1 inch left. I'll do a picture zoomed in about how much I cut off from the back. Alright, so it's going to be like that. Next step, you're going to be sewing again. So we're going to be sewing all around this edge, connecting the rectangle that you have to the other one. You're going to be starting at the bottom corner and going around to the other bottom corner, leaving a little bit of a gap. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Make sure you're pulling the fabric tight and flat whenever you're doing this, so you're not sewing over any bumps or creases. Now when you get to this seam here, you're going to make sure you pivot inward. Stop at the seam and then pivot out, because you're creating that heart shape. Make sure you're back stitching at the end. Alright, next step is another fairly simple one. After you have your heart, like bucket looking thing together, you're still keeping it inside out, but we're taking the ends that we never sewed up and we're just simply sewing them together as well, like we did the other ones. So I just do a pin there and a pin there and sew that together at 5/8. Alright, so we're just going to sew up this last little piece, and then we're going to be connecting the other heart piece to the rectangle. Ta-da! It's closed up at the end. Now we have a point. That's both sides of it. Whenever you flip it outside, it's going to look really good. So let's go connect the last heart piece to this rectangle, and then we'll have a finished heart, and then we can stuff it. So we got our heart container looking thing. We're just going to take this other heart piece. We're going to align the center points with this seam here. And we're going to shove a pin in it. So it's like that. And then we're going to just connect the sides just like we did for the first heart. It's going to be a little awkward to do once again, but so is most of sewing, so we just got to connect them. So I have pinned this side, so this is what it looks like. It's basically a big 3D heart now. What we got to do is we got to sew this side completely, leaving about 2 inches on the side so that we can stuff it and turn it right side out. You do not want to do it on a curve. You do not want to do it on this point. You do not want to do it on this point. You want to do it on one of these two sides, because that's going to be the easiest way to do the invisible stitch. Alright, whenever you sew this, buddy, we are going to start where you want the opening to be. So you're going to start below it. And you're going to go around this corner. And that's how you're going to start. Or, since I'm doing it, I just did it backwards. I'm going to start from here and go around this hump. So I'm just going to do 5/8 and sew that. Again, make sure underneath it that you don't have any lumps or anything and it's just smooth sailing, because if you do have a lump, it's more than likely the other side of the pillow and you're going to catch it under there and everything's going to be all messed up and you're going to have to seam rip everything. We're getting to the center of the heart. Make sure you're pivoting. Okay, when you get down to the bottom corner, just make sure you're flattening everything forward. And then just pivot and go right over it. And we're stopping about 2 inches away from the other one. So I'm going to stop about right there. Back stitch and take it on off. And then this is how much space there should be from my finger to my other finger. That's how much space you should leave whenever you're going to turn it inside out, or right side out. Now I'm going to go ahead and turn this right side out on the floor and see how it looks and make sure I did good. Alright, here we go. You're going to do what you do for any plush and clip corners. That means cutting inward at the corner, almost to the stitching, but not quite. It's like so. You're going to do that on both sides. And then, if you need to, you can cut the excess trim off of the heart itself on both sides if you need to, but I'm not going to do that because it's already pretty low. Just if you accidentally you've sewed more than 5/8 and you want to trim some of that excess, you can. I'm going to go ahead and turn it right side out now. We're going to go ahead and start stuffing. Alright, I'm going to use like a whole bag of stuffing. I'm not going to use all of it, but I would like to have that ready just in case. This one is a little bit bigger than the previous one I made, so I just want to make sure I have enough. Alright, so it is fully stuffed, and this is what it looks like. I'm going to teach you the invisible stitch now. With that, you're going to need a sewing hand needle and some thread. And possibly a pair of scissors. I always like to clip the edge of the thread at an angle before I thread the needle. But you're essentially I got an audience here. Threading the needle, I always double it whenever I sew with a hand sewing needle. Now this might be a little hard to see, but basically you're just double threading the hand sewing needle so that there's sorry. So that there's 2. Okay. So let's go a little closer. You're starting on the inside of the pillow towards the edge, like towards where you were finished sewing. and you're just going to put it on the inside and go all the way through, and then that knot should catch it. If it does not, which it did not in this case, I do it a different way anyway. So you go on the inside, going under and then out, and then you go through thread loop, and then that creates a knot. So that happens a lot with fleece. That's why I always do that when I sew anyway. Then essentially, once you have your thread inside of your pillow, you're just going to go across, under, and out. And then you'll have a thread that's across your pillow, and you just kind of pull that tight. I know the thread's kind of light, so it might be hard to see, but hopefully the quality of my camera is good enough that you can kind of see what I'm doing. So I know there's a lot of people out there who have never made a plush in their life, who have never done the invisible stitch. Alright, I'm done. So what you do is just pull up a little bit of the fabric and you twist your needle 1, 2, 3 around the loop, and then you just pull it tight. And then to hide the thread, you simply go in really close to where that hole is that you just had, push it out on the random side of the pillow without stabbing yourself with the needle. Pull that, pull a little tight, and then you get your scissors. You just cut that thread. Now it's inside of the pillow. Alright, so the pillow is officially put together. Alright, next we're doing the letters. So we're going to make this pillow right here. We're going to make this one say cutie instead of be mine. Because this one's going to be Candy's that she's going to keep for herself, and that's what she wanted to say. This is the one for the giveaway. So, time to start on this one. We're doing bubble letters. So I'm using a Sharpie. What you want to do is just kind of gauge the size that it's supposed to be and draw on your bubble letters. I would use something other than a Sharpie, but no one ever said I was the smartest guy in the world, so. And luckily for the word cutie, all except for the E, I can flip these backwards so that they don't have Sharpie showing except for the E. So I'm going to make the E backwards. So if you're wondering why the E is backwards, it's so I can turn it backwards and it'll still be forwards. Alright, now it looks like a 5th grader wrote the word cutie. I get to cut it out. Alright, so we're just going to hot glue these letters on about where I have them, and it'll be done.
Okay, so Mason's going to go ahead and go take a break, and I'm going to start gluing these on for you guys. And we're done. Okay, so this is the difference in the sizes. we decided to do 2 different ones just to show that you can do 2 different sizes. Everything depends on the size of the heart that you draw.
Alright, that was the end of the video. I hope you guys liked it. Here is the lovely prize that you're going to be able to win today.
It's super cute.
Alright, the rules of the contest. You gotta be subscribed to her channel, of course. And then you gotta leave a comment down in the comment section. And we're gonna be randomly picking a comment. And whoever subscribed and commented will win this at the end of the month.
You also have to like the video.
Oh, of course. You gotta like the video.
Like
do all of the above.
So yeah, that's the rules of the contest. I really hope you guys enjoyed all the DIYs that we did in this. And just go ahead and comment down below. How about you go ahead and say what you're looking forward to in the future, or what you think we should do on this channel. We'd really appreciate that. Alright, well, I hope you guys have a great day.